This podcast is brought to you by Dragon Shield. Check out our affiliate link down below to help support the show. Welcome to the Play to Win podcast, where we talk about winning in CEDH. I'm Cam.
I'm Dylan.
And this week, instead of actually talking about CEDH, we're going to take a little step outside of our usual zone here and talk about the casual side of Commander instead.
A small step right outside.
Yeah, not a leap.
No,
this is
not a bound.
Definitely not a bound.
No,
yeah,
but a small, we're touching.
Yeah, more like a Neil Armstrong kind of move. Yeah.
One small step.
For man, and or that quote doesn't hold up in 2023. It
Does it not?
For everybody. I mean, it doesn't matter your gender.
Of course.
It's a small step for everybody.
Right.
Well, now that we got that out of the way, I think it's finally about time that we do talk about casual, because it is certainly a form of Magic that we play a bunch.
We've had a couple of casual games on the channel. They've done actually pretty well view-wise.
Yeah.
I like casual. For me, the biggest issue I have with casual is with new people, the power level issue, right? We don't have to go too far into that right now. But
and by new people, just mean players we haven't played
with
before.
before. If I haven't played against your deck, I really don't know how strong it is.
Which is why, like, the Rule Zero conversation is really important. Now, for those people who play CEDH who don't play casual, what that means is that before the game starts, you all kind of like have to have an understanding of like what you're trying to get out of the game or anything like that. I'm at a point now where I really don't care about the decks that I'm playing against, but like I have my own specific goals that I'm aiming for when I build and play a casual deck, and I'm only going to care about me because it seems a lot harder to care about what everyone else is doing and all that jazz.
Definitely. For me, how I decide what is casual versus what CDH is, if it's not CD, like it's not CDH. That, I mean, it sounds kind of self-explanatory, but my casual decks are specifically not CDH. That's what makes them casual, is kind of everything about them is not CDH.
It's a really good separation, I think, to have, because once I started doing that too, like really distincting the CEDH decks from the casual decks, I started to have a lot more fun with casual in that case then.
Yeah, I kind of have my own little like a ban list for casual. It's not a real ban list, it's just cards that I don't want to play in my casual decks because they're, in my opinion, like the landmarks of what CDH decks are. I play them in every single CDH deck. They're staples. I play them all the time. So when I play casual, I specifically don't want to play those cards. I want to play not the efficient cards.
So like I won't play infinite mana combos or really any kind of infinite combos in my casual decks, because if I want to do that, I'll play a game of CEDH.
You know what? So what's strange is this is one of the few areas that we are kind of different from. I am okay with like 3-card combos in casual, but I know that is a lot of people's like point is like no combos in casual. But for me, as long as it's on theme, which is super important, like all my casual decks, they have to be on a theme. Every card has to fit that theme. If it doesn't fit the theme, card can't be in there. So as long as the combo fits the theme, it has to do with the commander, and it's like 3+ cards, for me, that's okay.
We'll get more into themes later, too.
Sure.
But I do see where you're coming from, and I think that stuff like that's probably fine, right?
Yeah.
Some cards that like we personally won't play are like Fast as Oracle and like Demonic Consultation. And that might seem pretty obvious going from CEDH into casual tables. That just seems to be one of the biggest like social cards that we just kind of all
easy, no Fast Oracle, no Demonic Consultation, no Tainted Pact. In my opinion, those cards are too good, and they're also like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the landmark of CDH.
They're the
antithesis epitome of. They are CDH.
Like
those cards are CDH.
When you think CEDH, like the cards that immediately come to your mind are like Fast as Oracle, DOCKSIDE, Extortionist, Underworld Breach.
Yeah.
So like anything that revolves around those cards, I'm not gonna put in my casual.
I don't play DOCKSIDE in casual. No way.
No.
But I understand if you are a casual player and you have a DOCKSIDE, you're going to say, what the fuck? Why would I not play this card? It's awesome in my Goblins deck. In a Goblin theme deck, I would consider probably playing DOCKSIDE Extortionist. I can make an excuse. Maybe not for DOCKSIDE. I don't know. That's a stretch. I can make an excuse for anything if it's on theme.
And I think that like if you're in mono red, like I think that's also a really good excuse, because it's not like it's also going to like activate any of Kennerith's abilities that you want to.
Yeah, I guess.
Like you're playing Krenko or something like that in that situation.
But for me, I would say say if you are the player who wants to play the DOCKSIDE in your casual deck just because it's good, obviously do that. I don't. Who the fuck am I? You know what I mean? But
I wouldn't care if you did it.
Right? Yeah, of course. If you played against me, I'm not going to be bothered whatsoever. I'm just saying I wouldn't. But I think that you should play a CDH deck with DOCKSIDE Extortionist if you are that player, because CDH is just commander. It's still casual. We play it casually. It's just the powerful of the powerful. And DOCKSIDE is a little bit more, not much, more balanced in CDH. I mean,
well, it's also much better in CEDH.
I guess, honestly, maybe that's true.
Too.
Maybe that's true.
And I think that's really like the biggest reason why it hasn't really been like it's. I feel like it's always kind of on the radar for being banned because it's something the community talks about all the time.
Yeah, and
but
they've said it themselves in their list that they're looking at.
They're definitely
DOCKSIDE.
looking at it, but like considering like how less frequently it comes up in casual games and how worse it is a lot of the times in casual games where there's signets in play instead of mana crypts.
Yep.
I think that it might end up, lasting a lot longer in the format for that reason. So like, and I understand that there are also a lot of people who only play casual and that don't play CEDH. And I think that there's going to be a lot of reasons why other players play these cards that we personally don't play.
We are CDH players. All we do is CDH.
Yes.
All we think about is CDH.
Yes.
So when I do play casual, when I'm playing 2 o'clock in the morning with my friends on a Saturday, I don't really want to be thinking about my DOCKSIDE loops. I want to be counting my vampires or seeing how many swamps I have for my Cabal whatevers. Like that's kind of more of what I want to be doing in the more casual environment. And then DOCKSIDE is just like you said, it is CDH. It is
CEDH.
Right.
Yeah. And like even like super really powerful cards that all CEDH decks have, I also don't want to put in my casual decks. And for this, I'm talking just like Mystic Remora and
RHYSTIC Study. I don't play RHYSTIC Study either, which also is a casual commander staple, and I get that. But for CEDH, I see that card so often. It's such like a generically incredibly busted card.
Agreed.
I don't want to play it in my casual decks.
And paying the 1 is such a drag. And I understand that like a lot
from
of
a casual perspective.
Right? And so I understand why a lot of casual pods won't pay the 1 for RHYSTIC Study and just let people draw. But like my CEDH brain is like, this is horrible. I don't want to do this, and it just doesn't make. Even owning 1 is not something that I want to do in my deck. If I want to play RHYSTIC Study, I'm gonna go play my Grixis Ad Nauseam deck or something like that.
To me, it's too powerful in the format. Not like too powerful like it should be banned, but it's just a league above everything else. When it's hit play, it does kind of what, in my opinion, gives you like false win percentages. And a lot of the other cards we're going to talk about today, like RHYSTIC Study and some other ones, they give your deck like I want to say like a false win percentage because they're so powerful that if you can get them to resolve, they change everything much more than any other card would. And at the end of the game, you'll go, I won that game, and you maybe will forget that you had a RHYSTIC Study that drew you 15 cards, but you'll think, oh, my deck is good, when maybe your deck, it still needs more work, but the RHYSTIC Study is masking that.
Any relatively good deck can do well with an early RHYSTIC Study in play. I think that's a really good point where like if you're confirmation biasing like games, I think you'll find that you end up the games that you have RHYSTIC Study, you end up winning significantly more than the games that you don't. Right. And for a lot of decks, I think that's a very lopsided stat. And
I just like to fit more cards that are on theme into my deck. Like RHYSTIC Study, it just draws cards when an opponent plays spells. If something that's more specific, I might be more interested in something like Esper Sentinel. If you're playing like a deck that makes your creatures get really big and you can increase that power, then that card is on theme. That makes a ton of sense.
Even then, I still typically won't put Esper Sentinel in my white decks in casual, just because like again, I played in every single white CEDH deck. So like I won't play Ranger Captain of Eos because he's playing every single white deck.
Yeah, for me, Ranger Captain is like, it's definitely, I could play it, but it like any card, it would have to be on theme. I would have to be playing a human themed deck. I would have to be playing something like that.
It's a tutor though, and that's kind of like another card type that we tend to stay away from, is really kind of tutors of any kind.
For me, Imperial Seal, Vampiric Tutor, Worldly Tutor, Mystical Tutor.
All the 1-mana tutors.
Enlightened Tutor, those are off the menu for me.
And Demonic Tutor.
Those rates are just too efficient. They're too good.
But even if I'm playing like a black deck, I still will shy away from the 3- and 4-mana tutors. Yeah. Because at that point, they're still bad cards.
I'm not playing Grim Tutor. Yeah.
No, and I'd much rather play a card, again, that's on theme with my deck instead.
Right.
And I like the idea of having my deck be I don't want to say less consistent because everything is synergistic, but like having the games be a little bit different each time I play the deck feels a little bit better from a casual standpoint, because if I want to win the game the same way all the time, I'll play CEDH, and I have no problem winning the game the same way all the time.
Right.
Let me be clear. I love winning with Thassa's Oracle.
Every single time. I'll do it every time.
It feels great.
Yeah.
It's never not been fun for me
Right.
to win with Thassa's Oracle. But in casual EDH, like sometimes I'll win with like a Crater Hoof, and sometimes I'll win with like a Triumph of the Hordes, or sometimes I'll win with like Massacre Worm.
And that comes down to like us as players, again, like being CEDH players. For us, casual is specifically not CEDH. It's kind of at every point, it kind of tries to be the opposite of it.
Yeah, and I think it works out really nicely for us, specifically because we have the ability to play both.
Right, yeah.
Which is why, like, I don't find...
Not everyone does.
No, and this is part of the reason why I think we also don't find any saltiness in this pod, because the rest of our pod doesn't play by the same rules that we play as, but, like, we all kind of have an understanding of our power level, so I guess that's really why we don't really have any kind of, like, salty moments with us,
I know how strong Tyler's deck is going to be, so I can pick accordingly, and all his casual decks are really strong, so I can only play my strong casual ones, but...
Yeah. There's another category of cards that we won't play, and that's fast mana. Mana rocks that make more mana than they cost.
Right, so specifically Mana Crypt, Chrome Mox, Mox Diamond, and Soul Ring.
I don't
play Soul Ring in my casuals.
I took it out, and it's been a lot more fun.
Yeah, it's more fun. The Soul Ring is like the, I think this is another big word I'll try to use, antithesis of the effect where the card gives it a higher win rate. Gives your deck a higher win rate. If you play turn 1 Soul Ring and you win that game on turn 14, you may forget that you were 2 turns ahead of your opponent for the entire game.
Yeah.
You played like twice as much Magic as they did. Soul Ring is really that fucking good.
Yeah.
It's so funny. We missed like the Twitter conversation. There was a whole big dialogue thanks to the Command Zone and some other people talking about whether or not Soul Ring should be banned in Commander. Yeah. I definitely am not saying that whatsoever.
No, don't ban Soul Ring, because I want to play it in CEDH.
Definitely.
Just do a better job of policing yourself so that we CEDH players can still have the good cards for CEDH.
Right, I know.
And then you can too. Come play CEDH, and then you can also be in on the fun.
You can do both. Both are okay.
Yeah.
The question floats around a lot is if there should be a separate ban list for CDH. And I always say no, of course not, because it wouldn't really work. Everyone would stop playing CDH and we just play whatever the strongest thing to be doing in casual Commander is.
Yeah.
For me, if anything, the cards should be banned in casual and CDH should remain the same, which is like the exact same thing, but I like the way the cards fit in CDH. All the cards make sense to me. When I look at those cards from a casual Commander perspective, not CDH, some of the ones, like the ones we've been talking about, don't make as much sense.
And again, I think that's just because we play as much CEDH as we do.
Right. Yeah.
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 There are a couple of other ways that I will try to make my decks differ, and that's also in the mana base as well, too. I'll play significantly less optimal mana bases. I'll purposefully play tap lands in some of my decks, too, just because I know that, well, yeah, they'll make me more mana, but, like, it will also slow the deck down and add in like a little downside for me that, I don't know, makes it a little bit more fun.
Honestly, the Scry lands, I love them.
They're great.
I think they're great, especially in like decks that don't get a lot of card advantage, that don't have the card advantage in the Command Zone. I think the Scry lands are super helpful. In casual setting, I think they're awesome. I also don't play fetch lands in casual. I don't want to shuffle basically at all.
I used to play like in a 2-color deck, the fetch land that went with it. So like in Glissa, I would play Verdant Catacombs, but I stopped doing that. I took Verdant, well, A, because I needed it for a modern deck, and B, I just figured, well, you know what? It's only getting Overgrown Tomb.
Right.
Is that the name of the card?
Honestly, the way you said it, I'm doubting it. But
it's
Overgrown Tomb.
So unsure about the name of Overgrown Tomb.
A card that you played 1,000 times.
I fetch land more than any other land in the history of my life.
It just sounds weird coming out of your mouth there. Overgrown Tomb? How many syllables is that?
Overgrown Tomb.
That doesn't seem right. I feel like that's 3 syllables. Was it 3 syllables before?
No, I think Overgrown Tomb.
I think they changed it.
The word overgrown has always been 3 syllables.
It might have been 2.
Overgrown Tomb. Is that how you've been saying it?
I don't even know anymore.
I don't know anymore either. But yeah, so like the fetch lands I won't play.
Yeah.
Really like any land that makes more than 1 mana I also won't play.
Yeah, I'm not playing Gaia's Cradle. I'm not going to proxy up a Gaia's Cradle for a casual deck.
Also, proxies in general I won't play.
Yeah, for me, I like the experience of playing just what I have, getting
Yeah.
the cards what I can. The deck isn't optimized. It's not perfect. I don't need to proxy. If you want to, that's cool. Again, obviously,
if you're
do your
playing
thing.
in a casual game against me, I'm totally okay
Of
if you
course.
play proxies.
Me personally, I want to have the card for real in casual. In CDH, not
Yeah.
the case. It's the deck, not the wallet. I
Yes.
fully agree with that. But in casual, I want to feel like a Pokemon trader. This is what I've acquired so far.
This is what I've acquired,
Is it,
right?
let's battle and who cares what happens.
Yeah, I totally agree. Again, it's something else that because we have the separation of CEDH and EDH, I kind of feel like I can get the best of both worlds.
Definitely.
With that then, too.
My relationship with Casual Commander got way healthier when I started playing CDH. Not that it was
Totally agree.
Not that it was like particularly unhealthy, but there is a lot of like badness and salt with casual that can kind of get removed when you get that outlet out in CDH. I feel
Yeah,
like.
exactly. Like, because I always wanted to play like a Thrasios deck in
Yeah.
EDH then, and now like that's another thing that I started doing. Like, if the commander sees play in CEDH metagames regularly,
Yeah.
it is immediately out of the question for me to build a casual deck around.
Yeah, definitely.
So like no partners. I won't do partners. Maybe I would consider
Like an
doing
obscure
like
partner.
uncommon partners
Yeah.
from like Commander Legends or something like that.
But not Malcolm.
But I wouldn't build, like a casual Malcolm deck, a casual Timna deck.
Yeah, I have thought about like what it would look like to build a casual pirate deck, but very quickly it gets like too close to a CDH deck, I think.
Yo,
There's
like,
just-
I mean, I won't even play Ragavan in my casual decks now either. Because now they're all in my modern deck. But again, it's a card that receives regular play in CEDH too. And like, I feel like they just busted all the pirates like really quickly.
yeah, there are a decent amount of pirates that made
either-
their way to CDH, which is strange.
Pirates are either really good or they're
Nothing.
really bad.
Yeah,
they're either
absolute nothing.
5 mana 3/3s that are clunkers that have a stupid ETB ability that's based on pirates, or they make treasures or prevent your opponents from drawing cards and make treasures.
Yeah.
Or it's
Oh
fucking
yeah, that
busted.
pirate.
Yeah,
That one.
That one that
We
they
don't-
had to ban.
We don't talk about that one.
No, right?
They
Yeah.
banned it. We can't talk about
The
it.
balance between pirates is so bizarre.
Yeah, I agree. Does
Yeah.
that make sense though? Some pirates are legends and other pirates are like nobodies. I don't know.
I guess
that's true about
there
anything.
were a lot
I
of
guess.
right. Like name 5 pirates.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
No, okay, we're immediately going into fake pirates.
No,
Okay,
he was a real pirate.
All right, that's fair.
based on a
yeah.
true story.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah,
I actually
it's a
don't know.
biography.
Yeah. Well, it's based on a true story of the ride in Disneyland.
Oh,
which-
that's true.
yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the rare cases where the ride came out first.
Yeah, I
Could you
that's
imagine
happened
if they
since then.
made-
Treasure, something with The Rock came out. It was a ride first, right?
Something with the Rock came out that was a
He
ride
had a
first.
yeah, he had a movie. It was called Treasure something, and it was a ride in Disney somewhere.
That's
first.
funny. Could you imagine
I give
if
you
like
half the details of
Could
that?
you imagine if like Batman came out after Batman the Ride came out?
I was like, what the fuck is this?
How did they get
Who is this guy?
Wow, jeez Louise.
What about casual? Any other cards that we didn't? I know we didn't mention Kiki Jiki, which in my mind is similar to Thassa's Oracle of just being like the other most efficient thing you can do.
See, I'll play Kiki Jiki if I don't have any combos to go with it. Like if it's just a value copy creature and it fits in
honestly,
my theme,
okay.
I'll play Kiki Jiki, right? And that's kind of how I am with some other like combo pieces. If they're not comboing in the deck and they fit the theme, I'll still consider playing them.
They're not comboing, but they do fit the theme. Oh, definitely. Even if they're on theme, if it's closely on theme, I think you can. I don't know. I keep them. Hold on, I have to sneeze.
Yeah, sneeze. Good job.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Good job. That's a way better response than God bless you. I
know,
think.
right?
Oh, good. Surprised. And,
Yeah,
good job.
good job.
I'm gonna start using that.
Free counter magic is also stuff we won't play.
yeah.
Even in the best of blue decks that we'll build.
I'm not playing. So tough here. I'm not playing Force of Will. Definitely not.
Yeah, Force of Will.
Thwart. Thwart is a card that I might consider. Do you know Thwart?
Please refresh my memory.
It's a 4-mana counterspell. I believe that you can return 3 islands from play to your hand in order to play it.
That sounds like it sucks.
It does kind of suck, but in a deck like AC, which is a deck that I have that I don't play Thwart in, but I've thought about a lot, I feel like it's good there. I feel like it fits the theme. It's a free counterspell, but you have to return 3 fucking islands. Like, that's a fucking cost.
That's such an upside.
You're not
I've
gonna
played
have that
against
till late game.
I've played that against that AC deck so much that I know that that's such an upside.
Yeah, exactly.
That's,
It's such an upside.
Yeah,
but
returning
still,
the lands is such an upside.
I still can't get 3 islands into play consistently before like turn 5 or 6. So it's like a late game free counterspell. I think that's the biggest issue for us is like slowing the game down. We're purposefully in our deck by making these choices trying to like slow our decks down dramatically.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that specifically Thwart doesn't. It's not an early game counterspell.
No,
so
that's definitely
I think
a more
okay.
late game counterspell.
But things like Fierce Guardianship.
Won't play that.
Not gonna
Deflecting Swat,
yeah,
I'm not playing.
play
I'm not even
Daze.
playing Deadly Rollick.
No. Well, okay, so for me, the cards we different here, I think, is I don't play any of the cards that say Commander on them. If they say Commander, not playing it. It's out for me. Anything that Wizards tells me that I need to be playing in my Commander deck, no fucking way. Get that shit away from me.
So how do you feel about like Arcane Signet and Command Tower?
Don't play them. I don't play any of my casual decks.
See, I'll play them, especially like Arcane Signet in decks that don't have good ramp.
I certainly should play them to make my decks better, but for me, that's like part of the build around. Part of my rules is if it says Commander, that's a CDH card. That was made for the competitive of the aspect of the game. Those cards are good. So for me, that's like a word where I won't play any of the cards.
Some of them are bad. Like I won't typically play a lot of the ones with Lieutenant in my casual deck.
Oh, yeah.
But there's only like 5 of those.
Yeah,
10 of those.
There's not too many. I have thought about playing, I'm sure someone else has done this too, is like making a deck where all the cards say Commander. I would definitely do that as a casual deck. That was a theme, specifically since I don't play any of the ones that say
Yeah, that's true. That would be a really funny theme, yeah.
But I don't know, do you get enough lands? Or do you have enough lands? No, right? Well, I guess like basic could be excluded from this.
You would play a lot of basic lands, and you'd probably have to play enough basic lands to fill out the rest of your deck.
Yeah,
you probably don't have a ton.
Either way, I'm not really looking to play Commander cards in CD8, in casual Commander. I want the exploring feeling. I don't want the cards that Wizards has told me that I need to play.
I've gotten to a point now where I haven't bought a card for casual in probably a year.
Really?
Yeah.
I still do time to time.
A lot of the decks, like the couple most recent decks that I built, are just cards that I've had from playing the game for 12 years.
Yeah, that is a good part about playing the game for a long time.
I've opened a lot of boxes in my lifetime playing the game. I've gotten a lot of legendary creatures, especially over the past couple years. So just like building things around what I have is also something I'm very interested in.
It's kind of part of the fun of it.
I think so too. Yeah. So it's more, it gives me an excuse to like rummage through all of the cards that I have too. And like, oh shit, I have this. I can play this in this deck.
Yeah, that's definitely cool. I normally start all of my casual decks off like that, and then after I play them a couple times, I go, okay, I need to juice this up because I enjoy the experience. I want to take it from there.
Yeah.
But I just recently built Wilhelt, which is like mostly from the pre-con that I got from that deck that I completely took apart. And then I was like, oh, I should build Wilhelt. I ended up putting it back together, and like more than half of the cards are from the pre-con.
Yeah.
But it was just all from the cards that I had.
So that's what you're currently working on the casual side of things.
That is the most recent one I built is Wilhelt. That is specifically zombie theme. Everything fits the theme. Basically, as of right now, everything has the word zombie on it. There's like a couple of the 2-mana rocks. I love the talismans, and I love like the diamonds in casual decks. Those 2-mana mana rocks.
The diamonds are so good.
I play those in basically
casual,
all of my casual decks. Those are like the staples that I have for casual.
Yeah.
Unless it's like I have AC, which is a lands matter deck, so all the ramp has to be lands matters. Obviously, no artifact ramp in that deck whatsoever. But
Totally
besides
fair,
that,
yeah, totally fair, yeah. So what are some of the other themes that you've built around?
Oh yeah, okay. So I have a couple decks that we could talk about today, maybe.
Yeah, we'll just like brush over some of them here. Yeah.
The first one that I would want to bring up is RAFIQ. I've had this RAFIQ of the many deck for a while. To me, it's like it's one of the quintessential like original commanders.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah. When you think about like early commander, I think this is definitely one of the big ones.
Yeah, this was one that beat my ass the most when I was getting into Commander the first time, like over 10 years ago. I just could not stop this one. So when I came back to playing Commander more, I really wanted to put RAFIQ back together.
If you can't beat them,
join them.
Eat them.
Eat them. Okay, great.
That was from a Kirby commercial many years ago.
Sorry, I missed that. Yeah.
Oh, it's okay.
That reference went right over my head.
I can't believe you didn't get that. Yeah.
My RAFIQ deck I like to add like kind of a lot of themes into my deck, this one especially. So it's specifically an equipment themed deck, but not just equipments, right? It's specifically a swords equipment deck. So all the swords of Feast and Famine, Fire and Ice, etc. We have all 10 of them now, so it's playing all of those swords.
What about like Sword of Vengeance? Like, are you playing like
big
other
time? sometimes. Sword
too.
of Vengeance is, I think, the only other Sword of in the deck, but Sword of Vengeance is there too. It's so specifically swords theme. It's artifact theme, or rather, it's equipment theme, and then swords theme specifically.
That's your subcategory.
That's the subcategory.
Your sub-theme.
But it's also the subcategory is it, since it's like the swords theme, it is all the things that protect it are not coming from a colored source. So no Mother of Runes.
That's a consequence. Is
Right.
that a theme, or is that just like a consequence?
That's like an
of the
added
theme?
restriction, I think, to
Yes,
make this
there
up.
you
Because
go.
I don't want any of my swords to ever be blank, or any of my cards to be blank because of the sword. So if the card gives my creature pro white, I don't want to have a God's whatever. What's it called?
God's Willing.
God's Willing in my hand and not be able to protect my thing with it.
So
right?
like Mother of Runes.
No
Fuck
Mother of Runes.
Mother of Runes
Fuck
because
Mother
it's
of Runes.
targeting.
Right. But cards like Heroic Intervention that give
Ooh,
all
yeah.
creatures, or creatures that do it like. Just one moment.
Yeah.
Just 1 second. 1 second.
There's a Bant Rhino that you can sacrifice to give all your creatures indestructible
Selfless
too.
Spirit
There
is
you
the main
go.
one. There is a Bant Rhino, but
It's
Selfless
not
Spirit.
a Bant Rhino. It's a Selesnya
It's a
Rhino
Selesnya
that was
Rhino,
from
yeah.
Bant, though.
This one does the same thing, but it's 2 mana instead of 3, and it's a flying body, which is great for an equipment deck.
Right? Yeah.
So yeah, so it's equipment theme, it's swords theme,
Oh.
it's non-color targeting protection theme.
So you're also, because it says Commander on it, not playing the white version of Fierce Guardianship then?
No, which would be
Flawless
great
Maneuver?
in this deck.
I
It
feel
would
like
be great.
that would
yeah.
be great.
It would be great, but no, I'm not playing any of that. None of those
Flawless
cards.
Maneuver is a card I will make an exception for.
Oh,
the
yeah.
white and the green version.
They're
of
really only good in
those-
casual. They're made for casual, so it would be a
Yeah.
shame to not play them. I won't because of my stupid fucking rule, but you definitely
But
should.
that's fair. That's totally fair. Yeah.
So the swords theme, and then under the swords theme, there's also like a mini exalted theme. So I got like Sublime Archangel, so I want to go a little bit wider with my creatures sometimes. And then it's also a little bit of an infect theme. So I have
Blighted Agents in the deck.
Blighted Agent is there. Grafted Exoskeleton is the main one.
Oh boy, oh boy.
With RAFIQ that allows you to one-shot your opponent. So it's not really an instant win. It's not a combo, but it does, if it can connect with someone, it will instantly kill one player out of the 3.
It's a Voltron deck.
It's a Voltron deck. I'm saying all these complicated things to just tell you it's a Voltron deck, but a little bit hipster because it's my specific Voltron deck with my specific set of themes. But that I feel like is what makes it personal. It makes it my deck. It makes it cool.
Yeah, exactly. No, I love that.
And it's also a bunch of cards that I feel like whooped my ass throughout my life too, right? So like RAFIQ, yes, I already said like I've gotten beat by RAFIQ a ton when I play Commander, but also since there's like an Infect sub-theme in there, I got whooped. Like my first game of competitive Standard, I played against a mono-green Infect deck, I think.
Oh, wow.
And I was just crushed. I didn't understand at all. He just explained, you're dead now. And I said, okay, great. Magic is so fun.
So you didn't play Jund versus Infect in Modern?
I think, no,
Because that was how I was against Infect.
That matchup's great.
You just fucking
yeah.
blew out every single Infect player.
Oh my god! Every one of your hands while you're playing Jund against Infect is incredible. You're full
I
with
have
lightning bolts,
Bolt, Tarmogoyf,
yeah.
and Fatal Push.
It's great. No, but at the time I was playing, I think like Blade Splicer and like the Winged Splicer in my like a terrible Standard deck that I pieced together from
that's not
cards.
gonna do shit against
Right, and then he
Infect.
was mono green. I don't think mono green Infect was even a deck at the time, but nonetheless he was on it and he whipped my ass on
Doesn't matter if it's meta. If it's whipping your ass, it's still good.
it. Yeah, the words I live by.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, those are my kind of themes. That's my themes with RAFIQ. That's
Yeah.
that's what I got going on with
like
deck.
that.
You
I
got
like that.
You got something you can show me?
My favorite casual deck is Glissa the Trader by
GLISSA.
far.
I've played this
Yeah.
deck so many times.
You've played
I
it?
played against it. I mean,
Oh,
like
okay, yeah.
I've seen this deck played so many times. Specifically, incredible against my RAFIQ deck.
Oh yeah, this was a card. That's very true.
don't
yeah.
play it much against GLISSA anymore.
No, we
like
definitely
okay, I get it. You
curate
have another
pods.
removal spell.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, I won't play Glissa right now, so you can play RAFIQ.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of that going on in our pods.
Yeah. Tell me what GLISSA does. What are your GLISSA themes?
So Glissa has a couple of themes, and it's mostly an artifact deck. And what I like to do is, if I can find a theme that's popular in other colors, I like to build it in the wrong colors.
Yeah.
So like artifacts, there's a lot of blue things that work with artifacts, a lot of red that works with artifacts. Even white has a lot of really good artifact synergies. Fuck that.
Honestly, I just want to chime in real quick to say I 100% agree because my RAFIQ is a non-Boros equipment deck, so
Yep.
I feel the exact same thing. All the love for equipment goes to Boros, and Bant doesn't get any of it. Some of it, but
so
yeah,
this is kind of the same, right? So like I have to operate a very specific way, and Glissa has has these triggers that will happen when an opponent's creature dies. So I'm trying to build around Glissa as much as I can, which means my deck needs to be filled with artifacts that I'm getting back into my hand on a very fucking consistent basis.
Yeah.
So the deck is filled with a bunch of these like little baubles, like Urza's Bauble and Mishra's Bauble. This is really the interaction that got me hooked on this, is that I wanted to have a bauble in play. I wanted to crack it, get a card, and then kill someone's creature and get the bauble back. So now all of my 1-for-1 removal says draw a card on it, basically.
Yeah, it is honestly, it's a great strategy. It doesn't, at first it seems kind of simple, but it's really not. Like it helps you in an area that casual commander decks need help with, which is if you want to control the board, you lose card advantage so quickly because 3 opponents versus 1. But if you can cantrip on all of your interaction, it makes it a ton better. So it allows you to play that game of highly interactive, but still being in the game.
So there's like 16 1-for-1 removal spells in here. Some of them have random upsides, like one of them is the Morbid spell that doubles if another creature has died this turn. Some of them cost 3 mana and can destroy other permanent types as well, but for the most part they're being used to kill creatures. And there's a lot of times you just get incidental, there's creatures just die in the game, right? So sometimes you don't even have to do anything and Glissa can trigger.
It triggers off tokens dying too, right?
Any yeah, because the tokens are technically still going to the graveyard. Yeah. So
really good.
So they're still triggering Glissa.
It's kind of like a RHYSTIC study effect. I don't mean that truly, but like it just naturally happens a lot in the game. People play spells, people's creatures dies, they're attacking, stuff happens. So you get free value without even having to have your synergistic pieces, which are really just removal spells. They're just still good cards.
Yeah, exactly. So then in addition to the baubles, you also get to play like a bunch of other small artifacts that can sacrifice to draw a card, because you really are trying to fill up your graveyard with artifacts to get back. So you play like Nihil Spellbomb, which can draw a card and also get rid of graveyards. The Skull Bomb, the Dross Skull Bomb was a great addition to the deck.
That's
once
a new
that
one?
was printed. Yeah, because it also cycles from play, but for a black and 2, you can draw a card and return a creature from the graveyard to your hand too.
That's
so
perfect.
It's perfect, right? Yeah, so it's another good one. Chromatic Star is another great one that you can keep cycling through.
Yeah, normally I feel like Chromatic Star does not see play in Golgari decks, but this is like a perfect Golgari home for it.
And then cards like Walking Ballista and the Doomblade on a bauble card.
Isn't it so funny how our brains work? We're like, we can tell you exactly what the card does, how much it costs,
right?
But when it comes to the name, I couldn't tell you.
Couldn't tell you what it is, but these 2 cards on the screen right now can kill things and then put themselves back in my hand immediately. Like, the amount of card advantage that you can get in this deck is absolutely nuts, and it's all just kind of built around Glissa. So it's not necessarily as themed as RAFIQ or as themed as like maybe some of the other decks that are out there, but it's, to me, what I'm looking to do is like, this is my commander. I am building super specifically around my commander and just trying to make it as synergistic as I can
along the way.
Yeah, and I like decks that have a lot of moving pieces like this too.
Yeah,
things that let me say words on other people's turn. Our buddy hates that. So I really love this deck. I think this one's my favorite that I have together.
I'm just thinking of Adam going, "Oh, another bauble."
Yeah, right.
Anytime you do something, wait, real quick. This is gonna sacrifice this, and I'm gonna do this, and Adam just looks at me.
Not this again.
Another bauble. Yeah, but the decks are fun to play. More Magic, the better, right?
Yeah,
I mean, my VILIS deck is kind of built a little bit similar to your GLISSA deck, I think, where it's like main strategy is just to be a mono black deck. Its main strategy is to lose life to gain resources, but with VILIS out, you draw extra cards, so that's really good. So playing cards like Snuff Out and Necropotence, which can see CDH play, but because they're really fit on the theme, I kind of feel like they're okay.
Yeah, I noticed that like Ad Nauseam was on your list here of cards you won't play in casual decks, but you will play Necropotence.
I'll play Necropotence and Bolas of Citadel, but not Peer into the Abyss.
It's funny because you've compared Necropotence to RHYSTIC studies sometimes too, where it just draws you
apples and oranges, though, my friend.
Dude, apples and origins are some of the easiest things to compare.
I always thought that was kind of a silly phrase. The roundish.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, you're right.
That you can eat with just your hands. And then they have differences, like one has a shell on the out. I guess they both have shells on the outside, but one has a shell. You can. The skin of an orange is clearly a shell.
No, it's
and
not.
What else is it?
It's a
skin.
Shell. It's skin. I saw some video the other day that said plants are sentient. and that plants can tell what color shirt you're wearing. Did you know that?
The plants can tell what color shirt I'm wearing?
They can see.
No, they can't.
They have the same receptors that we have in the back of our retinas. They have all over their little plant bodies.
All over the little plant bodies. So like they're like judging me as I'm walking down the street.
Exactly.
Like,
they go, that outfit does not work, Cameron. Get back. Try again.
Flip-flops and socks don't work, Cameron.
You better go back. Sweatpants and cardigan, not a look.
That's not a look. Flip-flops, socks, sweatpants, and a cardigan is not a look. What if I wore a beanie too?
That would be your everyday winter look, and I think you would look great for it. But 100%. The plants might judge you.
The plants, man, that's trippy.
Yeah.
I almost don't believe that.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure it's real. I said it just now on the internet, so
are we a science podcast?
It's real now because I said it and put it out there.
Well,
oh, you want to come back? You were
just to come back,
but now you want to come back. You just want to switch sides.
Yeah. So your VILIS deck. We were talking a little bit about your VILIS deck.
Yeah, it is specifically mono black themed, right? But it's also swamp themed. So Cabal coffers and any of those things that help. Tapping for the amount of swamps that I have. Urborg, yeah, I'm really heavy into that. What's the Cabal of... No, I'm sorry.
Cabal of the Coffer?
No, Magus of the Cabal Coffers, whatever that card is called. I should be so much more prepared.
Whoa.
It's a 5-mana creature that for 2 and tap, it activates like Cabal Coffers. It taps for mana for each swamp that you have. Magus of the Cabal.
It's Magus of the Coffers.
That's what it is.
Yo, there's a lot more Maguses out there than
there's a ton.
Realized.
Yeah, there's so many.
There's so many Maguses.
Yeah.
And most of them are so bad.
Yeah, most of them are pretty bad, but some of them are really good. But yeah, the theme of this deck is, mono black, specifically swamps, specifically Liliana's Contract. So I'm playing just the other demons. So that's Razaketh, which would normally be too strong, but because it's the Liliana's Contract, and I'm playing specifically the Secret Lair one.
Yeah.
So I have Razaketh in there.
It's on theme, and you're not playing like cards like Life alongside of it.
I'm not playing, exactly. Yeah, Razaketh doesn't actually combo in any way with the deck. There's no infinite combos per se, although I am playing Sheoldred and Kurik, which is kind of like draw your whole deck at the cost of gaining a whole bunch of life, and I can play Great Merchant of Asphodel.
But that's
over
a
and over
lot
again.
of money. That's a lot of money? What the fuck?
A lot of mana.
Their bones are their money.
Their bones are their money, and so are the worms.
Yeah.
This deck is pretty close to a CDH deck, honestly. It's pretty close to the Kurik CDH deck. The main difference is it doesn't have any of those cards that we mentioned earlier, so I'm not playing a ton of tutors. No. I'm not playing fast mana.
And what makes Kurik so busted is that Kurik is in the command zone. This is VILIS in the command zone, which is a lot more expensive.
Right. If you kill my commander once, it's a 10-mana commander.
And it doesn't net you more mana when it's in play then. So it's definitely a different feel.
Late game, turn 10, 11, 12, it can feel kind of like a Kurik deck then. Once I can set up until like turn 10, 11, 12, then I can make a ton of mana and I can do some of the silly mono black loops and stuff like that, but only at the end of the game. Everything else, instead of the tutors and the fast mana, it's just full interaction and more lands. So I'm just looking to interact more in the beginning stage of the game so I can make it to those late games. So yeah,
that deck is really cool. I really like that one. The other deck I just want to quickly talk about that I recently built and I haven't really played it a ton yet is this. How do you say it? SYRIX deck?
Maybe spell it out.
SYRIX.
That sounds like a robot.
I'm really not concerned with the name of the cards. I'm really more concerned about what they do.
You would think, being like content creators for so long, we would remember some of the cards, but my answer to that would be there's too many fucking cards.
There's so many cards.
I can remember what they do or their name, one or the other, and I'm going to pick what they do. I can't do both.
I would like to correct your phrasing, though, because I don't think there's too many cards. There's
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
Cards.
Yeah, you're right. There could be more cards, honestly.
Honestly, there better be more cards coming.
Otherwise, we don't got anything to talk about.
We have no content coming then after that then. So
sometimes I do think about what would happen if Magic stopped existing and how long we could continue making content with the cards
I think about that
existed.
all the time, yeah.
Like, could we keep going if Magic stopped?
The metagame would still be...
It would still change for a little while.
Right? Yeah, because like it would still shift for people trying to beat the metagame. It would just be different because there's no new cards coming in.
It would solidify. Eventually, it would go down to 3 decks, I think. If we stop printed cards, there would just be 3 decks.
Honestly, people would just stop playing the game before the metagame would get stale.
That might be true, too. Yeah, people would get bored.
Because I think I think the people that really like it would still have fun with what it is for a long time after it.
Yeah.
So I think it would just end up like the community just gets too small at some point down the line then, and then by the time we're 80 the cards lose all their value.
Right, and our whole collection that we said one day this will be a down payment on the house. We'll miss that boat entirely.
Oh, 150%.
I plan on watching that boat sail right on by.
I'm gonna be with the captain going down with
going
the
down
ship.
with my cards.
I'll be the one playing the violin for all of us.
I bought Tarmogoyfs at $200 and they're like $15 right now.
Dude,
so I am prepared.
I bought one at 180 and then the rest like kind of up there at 200.
Yep.
I bought 2 Future Sight ones, 2 Modern Masters ones, and then I traded the 2 Modern Masters ones in for 2 Future Sight ones.
Great
and
call.
still had to pay extra because they were worth less.
That's so dumb. I did that shit all the time.
Yeah, if I could count on 50 hands the amount of stupid financial decisions I've made with Magic the
Looking
Gathering.
back, yeah, I've made some good ones though. I've definitely made a couple good ones.
I made a couple good ones.
Yeah.
But I've always regretted them then. Like, even when I
really?
made money off of my collected companies, I'm like, I wish I had one of those collected companies now.
I meant just like picking up cards when they were cheap and now they're really expensive.
Oh.
Like Gilded Drake, I feel like was one for me. That I think Gilded Drake might be like $200 now, and I got it
Yeah.
for $60. We're not a finance channel. I don't want to talk about the finance shit.
We're not talking about finance. We're just talking about lucky things that we did that we didn't know what we were doing, but it just so happened to be like right before the pandemic, and it was
Sure.
a Japanese version of the card. So,
Do you want to talk about your commander?
oh yeah, I should talk about my commander a little bit here. Yeah, so this is a deck. So I want to read this card real quick because it's
You want to make sure
flying-
you know what it does?
Yeah, it's exactly. It's flying in haste. It says at the beginning of each end step, if a creature left your graveyard this turn, target Phoenix you control deals damage equal to its power to any target. Whenever another Phoenix you control dies, you may cast this card from your graveyard.
Right.
So I'm building around the first big ability.
Right. At first
not flying,
glance,
not haste.
right.
But that other paragraph I read.
At first glance, this feels like a Phoenix deck.
Yes.
That reads like a Phoenix commander.
But there are no other Phoenixes in the deck.
Okay.
Yes. So instead, because it was going to be a Phoenix deck, and then I realized like every single Phoenix,
They suck.
they suck.
They suck.
And they all come back off of different things.
Yeah.
Some of them come back off of you dealing non-combat damage to your opponent.
Right.
Sometimes you have to be attacking with a certain amount of creatures. Sometimes you have to have cast a certain number of spells. Sometimes you have to
completely different.
live in a certain zip code and spend a certain amount of money. It's fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
So why not? It doesn't say that a Phoenix has to leave your graveyard if a creature card left your graveyard. So if Reassembling Skeleton leaves my graveyard,
Yeah.
I can still trigger this at an end step.
Right. And it counts itself as the Phoenix mentioned in the ability. Yes.
Exactly. It
Right.
itself is a Phoenix. So
Right.
its power, I'm always choosing it so that its power can be dealt to something.
So this is another removal deck, basically.
Well, no, I think of it more like a Voltron deck.
Ooh,
Because
interesting.
I also have 12 different equipments in here that can bump up its power so that way I can just be dealing damage to people's faces
Sure.
while I'm also attacking.
Oh.
So I have what's the name of this card here? Hero's Blade, right? You play Hero's Blade for 2 mana. You play this then on the next turn. Comes in. That's going to make Strix's power 6. Strix's haste. You can attack, and then if you have like extra mana and you still have like a way to get Sanitarium Skeleton out of your graveyard or something, that's like an extra 6 damage you can throw around. So I'm really just trying to deal a bunch of damage and trying to kill the table, as opposed to creatures.
You're not dealing. So you can target the creatures, right?
I can target creatures,
But your goal is to shoot the damage at people's faces eventually.
it's my win condition
Okay.
is to win with Cherix damage.
very
Strix damage.
very Jun Guy decks.
very Jun.
You're
Guy
making
decks.
it very clear.
These
that
are Jun colors.
These are
here,
exactly,
yeah.
and they both do Jun stuff. They interact heavily with the board,
That's
make
true.
difficult to kill threats, maybe efficient threats. Yeah, these are very
try to
Jun
find
decks.
card advantage in very weird ways.
in very strange ways.
Yeah.
Drawing a card, that's too mainstream.
No, I don't want
wanna
to just
get-
draw a card.
Yeah.
I have to jump through 14 loops that are all on fire.
that are decided by me, and I can only decide
Oh,
when they're
I set
when
up
they're
all the
appropriate.
barriers
Right,
myself.
yeah.
Nobody did this to me but me.
I'm gonna lock myself in this little box of creativity, and this is how
and
I
I'll
build around.
complain about it too.
Oh, I have no good cards in this deck.
I can't believe I can't do what I want to do.
When you say reassembling skeleton for the 5th time in an hour, I feel like it starts to get a little what, why am I doing?
Well, that's how you know I'm having fun. Is that I get to say reassembling skeleton.
Yeah, maybe that's true. Better way to look at it. I like that.
Cool. Well, we're coming towards the end of the podcast, but before we officially end here, is there anything in particular that you are thinking of building from the Lord of the Rings set?
Ooh.
On the casual side, because again, this is the casual podcast.
Lord of the Rings is coming up.
Yeah.
For me, Sauron, Lord of the Rings. I think that one is the Grixis one.
The big Grixis one
that mills 5 cards and you get to reanimate a creature. That's
like amass 5 orcs.
Right, yeah. That's like the reanimation commander of my dreams. I wish it was less mana, but it's not. So I think I might try that. I haven't decided if I'm going to go full Lord of the Rings theme or just regular commander themed.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. These Lord of the Rings cards seem so fucking cool, but I haven't been able to fully wrap my mind around, like, do I want to just buy the commander decks and leave them pre-built? Do I want to pick them apart for parts and rebuild my commander decks? I don't know. But yeah, Sauron, that's the main one that I'm thinking about right now. How about you?
I'm mostly thinking about Saruman of many colors, which is a shame because he's not. He's just of some colors,
Right.
But they're
He's
good
only
colors.
Esper?
Just Esper colors.
Yeah, just a couple colors.
But the ward, I feel like, is pretty tough to deal with. Like, it has to be one of these specific card types.
Yeah.
And when you gave me the idea of building a deck that was just instants, sorceries, and enchantments, like, that's a fun build-around theme. That's, like, right up the casual side.
Definitely.
Right there. So
you can find some nice restrictions for it. It makes a lot of sense.
yeah, definitely. So I'm very excited about that one. Other than that, like, there just seems like there's a ton of fun options coming out of the set.
The set looks super great. I mean, we don't have to talk about the Orcish Lumberjack. That's not what it's called. What is it? Or that's another
Orcish
card.
Lumberjacks, yeah.
That's
That's
another
a red
card
creature
already.
that's been around for a long time.
Or something.
Orcish, it's an archer. They're archery
Orcish
orcs.
Arch Druid.
They're like the first archers that don't have reach.
Yeah.
Fuck that. What the hell?
Yeah, that card is definitely going to change CDH big time. I don't know, change, but it's going to make a big impact.
We'll
for
talk
sure.
about that during the set review.
Right, yeah. We don't have to talk about that now. But for casual, I don't know. It depends. I mean, I feel like everything in the right deck, almost everything that I've seen can see some amount of cool play, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I'm excited.
Well, do you have any other final thoughts about Casual Commander and
I don't think so. I mean, I love casual. I think it can be great. I know we're mainly a CDH channel, but we definitely all really enjoy Casual Commander and play it a ton. So I would love to get some more of it on the channel at some point. If anyone would be interested in that, we just have to make sure we get the power levels figured out.
That's what I would say too, right? I would want to make sure that's all worked out
But
too.
we're pretty good about that amongst our group, I think.
I also would just want to reiterate that, like, nothing that we said we feel like has to be taken in stone. This is just how we build Casual Commander decks and how we approach this side of the format.
This is not how you should do it. This is how we have fun doing it.
Yes.
If you want to try out how we have fun, you're more than welcome. We can include the link to the cards that I don't play and down below. You can choose some of them to talk with your group about, or you can not. You can tell us to fuck ourselves and you're going to play your fucking Soul Ring in your
these are
deck.
the only cards we're going to play in our deck and build around these cards, right? Yeah, so do whatever you want, but
the theme, I think, is what makes Casual Commander cool, though. I'll end on that note. Having a theme to build around and all servicing that theme that all relates in a little tree of decision themes inside your brain, to me, that scratches a good itch in my brain.
I agree.
Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to support us directly, you can do so on Patreon, like our $100 patrons.
Luke Cook, Young Mox, AJ Alwosabi, Demon of Rosgrees, Kawaja A. Hamid, Lauren Connell, and Baby G-Bus.
If you want to pick up any of our merch, you can do that at playtowinmtg.com.
That includes the Gay to Win merch as well as our new sleeves.
A huge thank you to our sponsor, Dragon Shield. Don't forget to check out the affiliate link down below to help support the show. They have been a great help, and they're awesome.
Make sure that you follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter to follow all of our content circles.
Thanks for watching.
See you next time. I'm going to be like Scorpion. Get over here.
Get over here. Stashes, Central Shepherd, Justin, Angela, Nicole, Stephen Solity, Big TP, 15, that Green Guy, Pedro,